This week, we learn about to improve the physical condition of our body in order to complete our final product. Our final product is about the planification of a HIIT. With our video, we now know that the HIIT means high intensity interval training. What this means is that in short sessions or in short periods of time, we will have to do intense exercise in order to get in fit. This is because this high intensity exercise will make that our body will be active, and this activation of our body will get our muscles stronger. It also will improve our capacity of our heart and our lungs, and we will stay in shape with a little short of time, because this is the final result of the HIIT, that you have the most exercise or the most results in a short period of time. This week we learn about the brochures. Why? Because in our final product we will need to do a brochure in order to put all the things that we will know about a book, the HIIT book. This book was given by our physical education teacher, and we will have to read all of it to the end of this project in order to know a lot of the HIIT and to do a planification of a HIIT to us or to someone. But the brochures, it's important to know why and how we use it. We will use this in order to put all the resume that we will learn about the HIIT and all the things that other people will need to know in order to comprehend as much as we do the HIIT. The HIIT is a high intensive intervals exercise training. This is because we use high intensity exercise in order to get in fit, and all of this will be put in our brochure in addition with nutrition and with the planification. This week we read the two first chapters of our book. In these chapters we'll see in first what is the HIIT. The HIIT, or by it meaning it's high intensity interval training. It involves intervals of high physical exercise in a short time, but only using the 80 to the 100% of our maximum volume of oxygen. This in order to improve our physical condition. The benefits of it is that it can profit get a lot of results in a short time. It's nice and enjoyable, it's very motivating, it's safe, it's effective, reduces the oxidative stress, improves insulin sensitive, the epoch effect, and a lot of other things that we will see in the period that we will do. It also helps you to feel comfortable, to feel nice, because you can do this exercise, a lot of exercise, and have a lot of results in a short period of time. This week we learn about the safety of the HIIT and if we need to choose HIIT or cardio. In first, it is safe the HIIT. HIIT is very safe. However, it must be taken into account that exercise, excessive or poorly done exercise, can lead to injuries. You have to take into account that recovery and rest intervals are needed and a progressive increase in them before starting these problems are taken into account. You have to take into account family background, smoking, hypertension, diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular risk factors, because all these factors will somehow get a little bit dangerous if you start practicing HIIT, so you have to consult a doctor. Also, we need to choose HIIT or cardio. HIIT will give benefits in a short time, and you will undergo high intensive exercise. And hence, cardio are lower intensity exercise but with a much longer exercise time. The advantages of both are similar, but it depends of each person and the time they have to choose the right one. This week we learn about the basic concepts of the HIIT. To start with HIIT, you have to take into account the types of cycles. We have the microcycles, the mesocycles, and the microcycles. The macrocycles are planning of months or years. The mesocycles are planning of weeks, and the microcycles are planning of 1 to 6 weeks. Also, we have to take into account the intervals. There are short exercise intervals, long exercise intervals, active rest intervals, and passive rest intervals. Also, we have to take into account the intensity, frequency, sessions, and volume of each exercise. Also, in this week, we learn about the HIIT types. We have 4 HIIT types: long interval HIIT, or the LIT, the short interval HIIT or the SHIIT, the repeated sprints or the RST, and the sprint intervals or the SIT. This will be a lot easier to comprehend what type of HIIT we need to do in order to stay fit. This will go in the planification further. This week we learn about the things that we need to know before doing the HIIT, or the things that we need to do before introducing to the HIIT. Before introducing to the HIIT, we will need to do an improvement of our physical condition and strength. This is in order to don't get any injuries or decrease the number of injuries that we suffered during the HIIT. Also, we need to know how to measure it, and we need to do when or how introduce it to our daily plan. Also, we learn about the types of exercise that we do in the HIIT or we need to involve in the HIIT. Almost every exercise involves in the HIIT, but we will have to do exercise that improve strength and velocity, and we will have to each of these exercises we will have to more and more get highly in velocity, because this will make that the HIIT get us results. If we do push-ups, we need to do more and more push-ups faster, and at the end we need to do push-ups that keep our strength going. This week we learn about the ninth, 10th, and 11th chapter of HIIT. We learn in this week that in order to do HIIT, we need to take into account the best exercises. The best exercises are jumping, running, tighter rope, sled push, etc. Also, we learn that the HIIT have three phases: the general phase, the dynamic phase, and the specific phase. And there are two more phases that are the cool down phase, that is the general phase and the dynamic phase. This complete the hitting of the HIIT. Also, finally, we learn that to do the HIIT, we need to learn a lot about us, and we need to know the specific planning that we need to do in order to complete a successful train of HIIT. This is very important, and we also need to know everything about the risks and the nutrition, and we have to complement it with other exercises.